Boom, ever onward tribe. I want to talk about something that I took from my time in the military, but particularly when I'm talking to corporate audiences, although I think it certainly translates way beyond the kind of business world. It's this idea of rookies or new folks in an organization. It's a real special part of what we do in the military, how we bring and kind of raise and kind of, nurture, so to speak, young people in the organization so they can perform at their highest level. When I took over my last assault team, so the last time I took a team that was going to go into combat, to make the math easy, that's about 20 operators, about 20 trigger pullers that are going to go overseas and do that job. And then those can get broken into smaller units. You can combine teams. You have 40 people. There's all different ways to piecemeal that together. But to make the math easy, think about 20 SEALs in a team. When you look at that, you actually have to remove several people because you have me at this point, the assault team leader, and then you've got my chief petty officer or senior chief, my senior enlisted advisor. We're the parents of that team, right? We're the ones that kind of run that family and that organization. And then underneath, basically us, but me, are two junior officers that will take over a team in the next round. So they run a couple squads. And then under my chief is what's called an LPO in the Navy, leading petty officer. And that person will hopefully, raise up to chief in the next round. It's how we kind of build this continuum. So you take almost 4 or 5 people out of that 20, and you're down to about 16 meat eaters that are going to be the battlefield, operators when you go in theater. Corpsmen, our medics, snipers, breachers, communicators, all the different jobs, that's comprised of about 16 people. When you take over a new team, there's people that'll be leaving that team. They're going on to another job. And then you'll get new guys into that team that you got to bring in and kind of train up and get them to become part of that functional operational unit. And if you were taking over a new team and you got 4 or 5 new guys out of those 16, that'd be about right. 6, 7, you get to 8, you're going to start getting a little panicky about how many new guys you have and the potential, dilution of talent based on what you're putting on the battlefield. The last assault team I took over, I got 12 of 16. I literally thought it was a practical joke. I remember walking into my operations officer's office and I said, there's no way I got 12 new guys. He's like, you got 12 new guys? We got too many right now. We know you can do it. Go win the day. And I remember walking back to my team room and I was just like, this is a disaster. Like, this is going to be a disaster. There's no way you can get 12 new guys up and running with the small amount of talent I have left to run this team. It ended up being the highest performing team I ever led. By far the highest performing team I ever led. When I came back from that deployment, which is in these days a very, very famous deployment with famous names that many of you know, I'm not going to drop those right now to take any credit for it, but famous deployment, unbelievable escapades and accomplishments on the battlefield. And when I came back from that, I sort of wanted to tinker with why did that happen? I knew it wasn't just my exceptional leadership that led that team to high-end performance. It takes a team, and something had to go right above and beyond just that. And when I started thinking through that, I came up with something. It made me start thinking of when I played college lacrosse. So I played lacrosse at Syracuse and up in Central New York. In that era, we were in the fight for the national championship and competing at the highest level the entire time. I called my coach and I said, hey, coach, do you have all the stats for the years that I was at Syracuse? I want to do some data mining through that. He said, you bet, call the office. They'll send it to you. And I get a raw packet of data of my time at Syracuse. I start whipping through that and I found out something kind of interesting. I played at Syracuse for 4 years. In the 4 years that I played there, we won the Division I national championship twice. 2 years, we fell 1 game short of the championship. When I looked at the data, what jumped out at me was in the years that we did not win the national championship, on paper, we were better. We actually were noticeably better on defense, shot percentage, won more face-offs, noticeably better in the year we didn't win the national championship. Now, obviously, statistics don't a champion make, but this was interesting to me, so I tried to think through that, and then I felt like I connected the dots between the two experiences. I sincerely believe in the 2 years that we won the national championship, it was the freshmen that won those championships, the rookies. And what I mean by that is, because I have to qualify it, very few freshmen ever see the field at Syracuse. You get to touch the field once the game's, set. We're sure for the win. Let's empty the seats and let some of the rookies play. Very few actually start and make a huge impact. But in the years that we won the national championship, The freshmen were so hungry, were so aggressive in practice, in tryouts, trying to fight for a spot on the field, that what did that do to the seniors, the upperclassmen? Absolutely elevated their play. It put them on alert that said, you better bring your best because we're going to come take your spot in a healthy way. It was the exact same thing at the SEAL team. When my rookies came in, I had a bunch of very, very talented, seasoned operators. I said, hey, we can either turn this into a disaster or we can make something good out of it. You need to pay attention to the young guys. You need to show them the right, the wrong, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You need to be honest about it. At the same time, we need to pay attention to what they have to say. They have to feel valued. If they have an idea that's going to work better than anything else, let's try it and see what happens. That ability to kind of get rookies into a fight and part of a team is critical in life. Here's my recommendation, whether it comes to kids, team members, somebody you're leading. If you have rookies, get them into a fight right away. Mentor them, help them, guide them, let them get out there and fail. Let them get out there and try. If you do that, they're going to water back into you much more than you might give to them.